if I would have told you, I had a premonition, and I told you about 2023, how much would you thought I was crazy?
I would have thought you were making a lot of that up. I would never have imagined listening to a song written, composed, and sang by a computer system. And it's great, and it's a good song. I mean, today, my business partner Eric shared a video with me, and it was 2 AI characters that they looked human, completely human, talking to each other and having an independent conversation about the day. And it was artificial intelligence talking to artificial intelligence on a video that was created by artificial intelligence. It was just fascinating. The fact that we're here at this point, and here's the thing, it's accelerating faster than anybody could have ever dreamed of.
I know we're late for a break, but I felt like we were safe. Well, no one can do this. No one can be this. But what if you could build through AI a talk show with Johnny Carson, Dave Chappelle, Jerry Seinfeld? Like, why would anyone listen to us?
Right, and then have them have AI write all the jokes
on a daily basis,
write all the content.
Yeah, just like give them access to the internet. Here's what's going on today. Here's 100%. The Dredge Report. Boom, done.
Yeah, AI generated content is going to be the problem and believing what's true and what's not true.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
crazy. Okay, ThrottleNet.com/Glover. Thank you, George. Appreciate it.
You got it. Thank you.
R253 DGS. Rachel said you had something?
Yeah, I have kind of the perfect audio to follow up what George was just talking about. This is Senator Richard Blumenthal talking about AI during a hearing. Hold on. I didn't have this ready.
Now, for some introductory remarks. Too often, we have seen what happens when technology outpaces regulation. The unbridled exploitation of personal data, the proliferation of disinformation, and the deepening of societal inequalities. We have seen how algorithmic biases can perpetuate discrimination and prejudice, and how the lack of transparency can undermine public trust. This is not the future we want. If you were listening from home, you might have thought that voice was mine and the words from me. But in fact, that voice was not mine. The words were not mine. And the audio was an AI voice cloning software trained on my floor speeches.
So could you guys tell any difference?
No, I guessed before he started speaking that was going to be what it was, but I couldn't tell.
I feel like I could tell, but I also knew what it was before hearing the audio. Yeah. But, I mean, just because you might be able to tell a little bit now doesn't mean that in a year they won't have completely perfected the technology to where there's absolutely no difference.
Right. Mm-hmm. The only time I've ever been able to tell really easily is when you know the person's voice well. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't know his voice that well. Mm-hmm. You might know a famous actor's voice well, or friends or whatever, or somebody who listens to DGS would recognize Dave's pattern of speaking and all that. So you might pick that up if you hear somebody regularly, but maybe not.
When Andrew
in the future, I mean,
when Andrew was making us all say crazy things with the AI, that was super creepy because it didn't really nail anybody necessarily, but it picked up certain nuances in our voices to where I was freaked out. Like, oh, you noticed that I do that. You can't absolutely, pinpoint my voice, but those little quirks.
No offense to Andrew, but that was Andrew, a non-expert, spending like 5 minutes.
Right.
Well, that was my whole point with doing it, is that I did it without even telling anybody that I was going to do it. I signed up for a free trial, and it took literal seconds to do that. And it was... Rachel's had a little trouble. Dave, yours had a little trouble. Kevin's nailed.
Yeah, it got it
Kevin's and Ranji's in particular were pretty much perfect after... I just grabbed a couple of live spots out of a folder and fed it into the machine, and it spat out something basically perfect.
Yeah, crazy. Well, this is a lie for ThrottleNet. I don't even know I need to do it, because if you're not convinced after that last segment to call them, I don't know what'll convince you. We're not an AI company. We're an IT company, but AI has become the tip of the spear, and it's really kind of taking over. We're still going to protect you from ransomware. That's still a thing. I'm sure these guys, the bad guys, are going to be using AI, and so you need good guys, white hat guys, who know everything that the black hat guys guys do so that they can protect you. That's ThrottleNet. We have the best Apple support, so you never need to go to the mall and stand in line, take a number again. We have a 2-minute response time, which whether you're just curious about something, or especially if something happens, like, hey, our printers aren't working, our computers are doing something funny, we think we may have been hit by ransomware, what's going on? The average in St. Louis is 3 minutes. That's an okay response time. The average for us over the past 3 years have been 1minute 57 seconds, under 2 minutes to get back to you and solve your problem. ThrottleNet.com/DGS.